right, we've got somebody in studio who I've had my sights on for quite a while. I think he's got a really, really interesting story to tell. He goes by the title Professor, but his name is Eldrid Jordaan, and he's quite a big thing in the world of, well, IT and data and so on. And he's in studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Aiden. Thanks for having me. It's been 10 years since I've been in the studio.
Yeah.
And so massive honor to just come and spend some time and just hang out.
Yeah, thank you. Started out, I mean, we'll pick up your story at MXIT, because I think that's kind of how everybody, maybe that's a commodity, a thing. I mean, I think the world has forgotten about MXIT, but I mean, that was almost the precursor to the kind of social media that we see today. You, qualified yourself and worked and then ended up sort of combining government and MXIT.
Correct.
How'd that work out?
So we found out that there was a huge appetite for young South Africans aged between 18 and 35 to engage with, governments. But we also found out that about 80% of young South Africans did not know who their public representatives were. And so we found out that there was a big gap just in connecting the two. And in 2015, when MXIT closed down, I decided, look, I'm going to take those learnings and I'm going to try and create my own platform. And came up with this concept called GovChat. Had no funds, tried a 3-year journey, but then lost it all. I
want to come to that in a moment, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was really, really tough, the entrepreneurial journey. Someone called me from LinkedIn, looked at the work that I was doing, this concept that I had about, connecting citizens with government, and said, do you need any help? And I'm just like, hey, man, many people have come forward and said they'd like to help, but you need money. And he said, well, here's 10 million rand. And see if you can take that concept and turn it into something tangible. And from there, I mean, we can talk a bit about what I did during COVID. It became the official civic engagement platform. It's Africa's largest platform. During COVID, we probably saw about 15 million people access that platform for the SRD grant. So I digitized that entire, platform, things that you were talking about a few weeks ago with those two students. They are now at Supple having a learnership program with us, just because they've been doing amazing things. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey. I still can't believe that I have been chosen to do this kind of work. And today, a few years later, after losing it all, after kids being suspended from school, after moving into my mom's home, I now run a listed company in Luxembourg at a market cap of 4.6 billion rand from nothing.
That is incredible, and that failure, because I mean, that's enough. I mean, especially in the IT space, you tried a thing, it backfired. It didn't really come to fruition, I suppose one could say. I mean, it didn't live up to its promise, its potential. That's enough for most people to say, listen, I'm turning my back on trying to run a business. I now need a job. Because I need stability. You moved in. I mean, it's never easy. You leave home and then, actually, Mom, can I get my room back? But I'm coming. With a family. that part of it is it's humiliating for somebody who has the potential to go on and do other things, right? I mean, that's failure in the biggest form.
Correct, but there's a massive but. I think when many people ask me for some wisdom, nuggets of wisdom, I always say, you have to try and find the right partner. Try to marry the right person. Because my wife has definitely made it a lot easier for me. It's a very lonely journey, this entrepreneurial journey. I will compare it to a jail sentence, because jail is meant to break you and entrepreneurship will break you. But if you see it through, if you have the right partner, the support, anything is possible. And I've tried to give up many, many times, but she's been my rock, my COO at home, and allowed me to do what I'm doing.
You get a call out the blue from what would you call an angel investor. I mean, I don't know if you solicited, if you'd put out pictures for those, but anyway, I mean, here's this call from somebody that probably you don't know. And at this point, I think many people who start up businesses are unwilling to either collaborate or give up part of their baby. You know, so many people have gone down with their business because, firstly, they don't have the skill, they don't have access to the finance, or they are just wanting to own all of it as part of the value chain throughout the whole process without saying, well, actually, you know what, in order to grow this thing, I need to bring in forces from elsewhere. Sometimes you need to partner with a bank or a financial services provider. Sometimes you need a technical partner. Sometimes you just need an outsider to kick you in the pants every now and again to say, come on, you know, you're being too indulgent. What was that like for you?
So when I asked this investor why he invested, was it the product? Was it the idea? What was it? And he said he never invests in businesses, but invests in people. And I think that is one of the, key outcomes that I can take from my journey. And many people ask, how did you get it right? How did Mark Zuckerberg get it right? How did Elon get it right? It's because we back jockeys. We don't back technologies or businesses because they come and go, but we don't come and go. And so I think that you have to have some serious guts, resilience, accept the failures, and if you fail, try to fail fast, pick up those learnings and then apply them in your new journey. In the US, if you try to access funding from a VC, they will say no. There is a rule in the US that you have to have started a business at least 3 times. Show them the learnings of those failures before they invest in you. And I think that those are the things that we have to apply in South Africa and on the African continent. VCs, unfortunately, are, like they say, so scarce soos hoendertande in South Africa. And you just don't find them. I was very, very lucky. In fact, it's a very sad story because the person that gave me my first 10 million rand committed suicide a few months ago because life was a bit hard. And so I'm really sad that he didn't see things through and see where we ended up as a listed entity. But life isn't fair.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's the nature of life. Listen, such an interesting, such an inspiring story. I mean, here's homegrown talent that is now excelling globally in, well, the IT space. I mean, IT is maybe too broad a term, in the digital space. Running a company called Supple. It's a publicly listed company, which means it's headquartered in the UK, run out of Luxembourg. We'll find out more about that business and what it does and what it's been up to of late. With Eldrid Jordaan, who's in studio with us. He's got one hell of an interesting story to tell. It's on Breakfast 26 after 8, catching up with Eldrid Jordaan. It was a big stink, a big cheese, a big dog when it comes to digital transformation. Ernest on the WhatsApp line. Well done, L. You know, when people call you, like when they shorten your name, they know you. Yes.
They know.
Well done, L. Proud Belhar boy. Here we are. Belhar coming through very loudly, clearly on the WhatsApp line. Eldrid Jordaan, if you missed the discussion, runs a company these days called Supple, Supple. Triple P, what's the story there?
It's an acronym. So we were looking for a word when we started this that speaks to resilience, and Supple is a synonym for resilience. But my partner, not my wife, my business partner came in and said, let's add a P. So it's a acronym for creating social impact using public-private partnerships. That's what Supple stands for. Yeah.
All right. And what does this company do? I mean, this is, I've spent a bit of time trying to figure it out for myself. It's fancy terms, digital transformation, public access. It's all these buzzwords. But what doen julle? What work is it that has you looking after stuff worth billions?
So it is a technology company, a software company that literally tries to automate and digitize technology within the public sector and private sector space. Obviously, during GovChat, we created and digitized that SASSA grant, that 350 Rand grant that is now looking after well over 13 million people. I think about half
Many of whom could be fraudulently, but anyway.
But half of the population is on social welfare. So we literally try to help government automate and digitize their systems, making it easier for citizens to engage with the South African government. So we're on that journey. Obviously, this journey hasn't been easy. I think just after we hit massive numbers, about 10 million users accessing the social welfare grant using GovChat, Facebook, who we were using from a WhatsApp channel, wrote us an email saying that they're going to close us down.
Really?
Because they wanted to have a direct relationship with the South African government, and they wanted to do what we were doing. And after tens of millions of South African rands, we took them to the competition mission. After 2 years of investigation, the competition commission found them guilty and had them prosecuted. And there is a fine that is proposed of 10% of their annual revenue. We're
In South Africa.
In South Africa, we're talking about 400 billion rand. That matter will go into its final stages at the tribunal on the 25th of August next year. But we have won that case.
So I took on Facebook.
So we took on Facebook, and they're not very, very happy with us.
Not getting a Christmas card from Mark Zuckerberg
I
this
think
year.
it's clear that, Bella took on Mark Zuckerberg, and we can be proud as South Africans to, from a startup point of view, I think it is important that we must know that we can do what they do and even better. So, yeah.
Nice one. Loving the story. You see, I said, really important that we get him in, not just on the phone, but he's got to come and sit here and tell his stories, because these are homegrown talents who are out there just achieving. And part of what we need to do as responsible media is showcase those achievements and almost mirror the path for others, man. Absolutely right. Speaking to somebody who's driving digital transformation, well, globally, and he's a kid from Bala, man. He's one of our own, and has taken on the world, has taken on giants like Facebook, and has lived to tell the tale. I mean, this is just the stuff of, I don't know, a folklore and fairy tale, one would think, but it's the lived reality of Eldrid Jordaan. I just need you to pop on those headphones there, if you don't mind. There's something I want to play for you that's in on our WhatsApp line. Oops.
Mr. Jordaan, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Proud of you, buddy. Proud of you. Mom and Dad would be proud of you as well. Go all the way, rooting for you.
Now, you see that these people don't leave names, but I mean, clearly they know you and they know where you come from. But yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it. People will take pride in somebody else's success, because that level of success, I mean, as much as it's yours and your family's, it's also representative of a community, of a society, which is why we celebrate stories like yours. It's not to give you a fat head. It's to say, come on. I mean, they're these kids who grow up, they're where we live, they're where we do our thing. But through perseverance, through hard work, through diligence, they end up achieving. And how awesome isn't that?
It is really, really awesome. I think, it's a story about purpose. And I think that when you find out what your purpose is, I think the rest, the challenges will always be there, but the struggle will be history. And I think that all of you, have found your purpose, and we can feel it in the cars. We can feel it when I'm traveling in New York City and I have that Hot FM app with me and I'm listening to Tara or Aiden or you. I think it's, once you find your purpose, is really, really something really, really awesome. And as I said, I'm really, really grateful that I can serve my country. I can serve it in this way. I think that there is still amazing things. I think Africa is a very special place. The lived experiences that we have make us unique from an innovation, point of view, and that's why creating platforms like MXIT back in the day, that saw about 1 billion messages come through that platform every single day, started out in the high schools of Mitchell's Plain. Many people don't know. Saw well over 88 million registered users in 120 countries coming out of Cape Town. And so I think...
Listen, MXIT was mad.
It was,
You remember, it was those early days where people were like, look, Kiki, it's not even a cent to send a message.
To your girlfriend.
Yeah, it was not even a cent. It gave rise to all sorts of things. Even old toilet, for those who know. If you know, you know. It was.
You also had MXIT.
I'm sure.
I own technology.
Some people got married on the MXIT platform.
Oh, wow.
Married. Definitely.
I actually know people
do you have
who
a
met
story?
Oh,
Sure.
my goodness.
Yeah.
So I think we can celebrate African technology coming out of this, continent. I get a question a lot around why Luxembourg? Why are you not at the JSE? Unfortunately, from a technology point of view, it's not recognized on the African continent. So there are 3 markets that dictate the JSE: banking, financial services, mining. There are tech companies that are on the JSE, but if you look at their balance sheets versus their market caps, it's chalk and cheese. And so we are still far from appreciating innovation coming out of the African continent. Where in Europe or in the US, in Silicon Valley, if you're hitting about 1 million users on your platform, you are a tech unicorn. Where I had 15 million people on my platform on the GovChat, I could barely do 150 million rand from a valuation point of view. So there's a long way that we still have to go. But
I mean, you look at, I know we're going to get a bit technical now. Your market cap is 4.6 billion.
Billion, correct.
In Luxembourg.
200 million pounds. Yeah.
There we are. It's the same market cap that Altron has in this country. And if you look at how long Altron have been around, in all of its forms, that's the value. And I mean, they've built, Bill Fenter and his sons have just built an incredible business over decades. But yeah, there you are as a much newer business, a much newer entity. I mean, you're a snotgat in the business world as a brand or as a concept, yet your valuation is the same as a company that's impacted our lives, in multiple ways for decades.
Look, I think definitely what a listing or what an international listing does gives you credibility. There's no difference between, and I'm going to say something very brave, there's no difference between Eldrid and a Johan Rupert right now. It's just the ticket size and the level, but we're playing at the same level. We're playing within the same game. And I think that the more we think about it in that way, because when you're a startup, you're in a survival mode. You think about, how am I going to pay the bill? For 3 years, I was thinking, how do I pay the bills at the end of the month? But what get me going was, how do I provide for my family for today? How can I be the best today and not at the end of the month? It's a difficult thing to, kind of do. But I promise you, if you stick it out, we're going to see some amazing things happen. I pushed out a Facebook Live a few weeks ago. I was at OR Tambo, or 5 Ks away, and in 2010, I rented a car, and on my way back to the airport, I ran out of petrol. I left the car on the highway and ran to the airport because all I had was a flight ticket.
Oh, my word.
That was 4 years ago.
That was 2010.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
So...
Oh, 2010, my apologies.
Yes.
Sorry.
I thought you were making it
sorry.
shorter.
14 years ago. Sorry, yes.
So if you look at 2010 compared to now, and the struggle is real, there's no shortcuts. Let me be very, very clear with you. You're not going to wake up, come up with an idea, put things in place, and next year you're going to list. This listing is 15 years in the making. I've started multiple platforms that have, unfortunately, GovChat right now is not around.
No longer there. Yeah.
MXIT is no longer around. But there's no difference between the Nokia story, between the BlackBerry story, between the Kodak story. These are things that happen. Technology is all about timing. And you get it right for a season, and sometimes your season spans for 15, 20. Nokia was many, many years. BlackBerry was a long time. I think MXIT saw 11 years, which was a long time, and then it crashed. So it is a timing game, and that's why right now we spend a lot of our money in research, R&D, so that you can always think about the next big thing. And that's why the likes of Google, Meta, Facebook, they are thinking ahead because they're investing in the future. And that's where we need to go. I think startups are still thinking about, how do I pay the bills at the end of the week or at the end of the month? It's a survival mode. We are not dreaming anymore. I think coming from the Cape Flats, what I see is we have forgotten to dream because of the societal issues that we have. And I really, really hope that if Eldrid can do it, coming from Baha, then anyone can do it. There's no difference. I'm not special. There's no difference to me between me and someone from Hanover Park or Diepsloot or Soweto or Kuruman in the Northern Cape. It's
Love
possible.
it. Tell me about Seek.ai. What is that?
So we've entered the search engine race using AI. Most of you would know GPT, which is AI that has come in, I think, in 2022. And so we've decided to come in and make search more conversational, but more importantly, to make it multilingual. So if you go into ChatGPT now and you speak to it in isiZulu or in Afrikaans or isiXhosa, it's not going to be able to respond. So we've decided to localize search engines so that when you speak to it, if I'm asking Seek.ai, tell me more about Tara, but in isiXhosa, it's going to be able to respond in that way. So we've got about 1.5 billion people on this African continent. And it's important that we create technologies that is accessible, and it's accessible to the people that matter. And so we cannot bring westernized technologies that is not accessible to Africans. And so that's our mission right now, Aiden, with Seek.ai.
So one can use this right now.
So it's fully launched in January next year.
Okay.
But right now you can speak to it in English, and it's an amazing platform. So if I want to know, tell me, give me a 1,000-word essay on Aidan Thomas and his achievements, it would be able to do that to you.
In Afrikaans eventually.
Listen,
I can find Afrikaans words on the side.
after about 150 words on that topic, it'll all be live. Trust me. It'll be flowy composition stuff where you've got to get really creative. What's the big next, do you think, Eldrid? I mean, AI is sort of the buzz at the moment. I mean, you guys sit there, you get to do something incredible. You get to dream and turn those dreams into reality. I mean, that is just amazing. You get to think of just like amazing things. And we sit here, as kids growing up, and we were like, they're going to be flying cars one day, and they are going to be, hoverboards, and you're going to like think a thing, and then there's a knock at the door, and then it gets delivered. It's that level of fantasy that you get to indulge in at almost conceptual level.
So where we're going next is what we call a ecosystem play. If you look at what makes up ecosystems, you will get a mobile phone, a device where there's software on. That software is hosted in a data center. That data center needs to be connected. And then you have the data itself. So we are making investments in the ecosystem play. Because if we don't do that, unfortunately, I'm going to have another big corporate like a Meta come over and take things over. And so we have to start owning our own technologies. We cannot just be consumers of technologies. We have to innovate. And so that's where we are right now, to be able to say that we are making investments in an entire ecosystem place. So data centers, connectivity, data itself. And we'd like to be the largest technology company on the African continent very, very soon. We are on our way there.
Love it. This has been, I don't know, it's, it's been long in the making. We've been trying to connect the dots and get your schedule to coincide with ours. I'm just massively thankful we found the time and had the opportunity to chat, really.
Thank you. Just again, a massive honor. I'd like to just, if I can, just give a shout out to my amazing wife. I have 3 little girls, Tanya, Tarabal, and Talia. You are my world. I do this for you and for our country. And just again, thank you to South African citizens. Thank you to the South African government that partner with people like myself, that don't charge them anything, but come in with skills and resources to make South Africa and Africa a better place. When our president says that he tries to create a capable state, I think that he talks about partnerships. And I think that that is the way to, go. If we can hold hands, I think that this country can be an amazing and a very, very special place. Thank you, Aiden.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Natasha has to say a special thank you to you on the WhatsApp line. I met my best friend, my world, my everything on MXIT.
You are most
That's
welcome.
you, man.
Natasha.
That's
Thank
you. Listen, finally, I mean, people who want to, I don't know, see you in action. Do you do public talks? What's the story?
So I am a professor of practice at the University of Johannesburg Business School. I do a lot of lectures. I am online. I also have an amazing space which we have just opened. We're actually launching it. It's in Parliament Street. It's an innovation hub. So please, if you in Parliament Street, 37 Parliament Street, come check us out. Come see what we do. Come and co-create with us, because a lot of the challenges that we're finding in the communities, we take those challenges and we slap technology on top of it. And so please come. We'd love to hear from you. It's an open invite.
Love it. Pop his
so
name
much.
into Google. You'll be amazed. He's one of the most important people that potentially you've never heard about. Eldrid Jordaan. Just pop that into Google. See what spits itself out. Maybe you can connect the dots and end up with a bit of FaceTime with him. Really appreciate his time this morning here on Hot Breakfast.
At ShopRite.